the unbelievable scale of black holes visualized. And I'm really excited to watch this because I like space. I like learning about space. I like learning about black holes and all that. It's it's pretty exciting to hear. And this one is by RealLifeLore. He makes a lot of videos like this. A lot of videos that are scientific in nature or just try to explain things in life. So if you want to check out his channel, you really can. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna watch this unbelievable scale of black holes visualized video. Thank you. Like and subscribe, all that, you know.
This episode of Real Life Lore is made possible by Hover. Get your unique domain and email by going to hover.com/reallifelore and using the code RealLifeLore for 10% off at checkout. Black holes are one of the most bizarre things that we know of in the universe. Mathematically speaking, any object that has mass can become a black hole. That means that you, me, whatever you're watching this video on right now, and everything else can become a black hole if you crush it all into a small enough space. This space is called a Schwarzschild radius. If you condense all the matter of any object into its individual Schwarzschild radius, then the object will become so unimaginably dense that nothing can escape its gravitational pull, not even light. If you wanted to transform yourself into a black hole, then you would have to find a way to condense all of the matter that makes up your body into an area 1/60,000,000 times smaller than a grain of sand. But the larger the amount of mass that gets crushed down into a black hole, the stranger the effect can possibly be. Let's take a Boeing 777 jet for instance. If somehow the jet suddenly transformed into a black hole, its entire mass would be compacted into an area with an...
See, this is kind of strange because up to this point, I only thought that like stars and shit could become black holes. This is kind of interesting to find out.
Unimaginably tiny radius of just 3.386 to the power of minus 22 meters. For comparison, the smallest atom is a hydrogen atom, which has a radius of just 10 to the power of minus 11 meters in size. This would be like comparing the size of a human red blood cell to the entire island of Sicily, an incredible difference in scale that's difficult to really wrap your head around. This outrageously tiny black hole would also not last long at all because of the effect of Hawking radiation, which would completely evaporate away the entire mass of the object in just 1 second.
I've heard that name before. It comes up a lot. I believe there was a video that I watched where it was talking about when black holes, they like take over everything after everything ends, and then like Hawking radiation would cause it to like it would absorb more or it would expel more, and then eventually every black hole will blow up, and then it will be nothing in the universe. It was something like that.
At this point, something else incredibly strange happens. The entire mass of the tiny black hole would be converted into an insanely high amount of energy equal to 5 million megatons of TNT. That is 87,000 times more powerful than the largest nuclear bomb that humanity has ever detonated, and it would be enough to completely obliterate the entire planet. If you wanted to transform Mount Everest into a black hole, you would need to crush the entire mountain into a space smaller than a nanometer, which is just 1/1000,000th of a meter in length, or the size of 10 helium atoms placed side by side of each other. It's completely unthinkable, so perhaps if we transformed a larger object like the Earth into a black hole, then things might be easier to understand. If we did this, the entire planet, everything that you've ever known, loved, or hated, every person and everything that has ever existed here would have to all be crushed into a space the size of just a single US penny. If you replaced the Earth with this penny-sized black hole, nothing would change in our solar system. Our moon would continue to orbit the penny-sized black hole as if nothing had actually happened because the mass would remain equal. If you wanted to transform the sun into a black hole, however, you would have to condense the entire thing into a space with a radius of just 3 kilometers. Such a space would only be the length of about 1.5 Central Parks, but it would contain the mass of the entire sun inside of it. Once a black hole has formed, though, it can continue to grow in size by absorbing additional matter like nearby gas and dust from its surroundings, or on occasion...
I just wanted to say real quick, why aren't they using this as a plot for like a story or just like a villain's motivation in a science fiction movie or book or whatever? Like, I think... in Star Trek, one of the Star Treks, they like created black holes. I don't think I remember that correctly, but I believe that they were creating black holes, and that's how they destroyed one of the worlds. Why don't they just do that for like so many more movies? That would be pretty cool.
They can even consume entire stars and solar systems. They can even consume other smaller black holes to rapidly grow in size and ferocity.
Oh yeah,
Let's
like
take the black
that's one
hole.
of the things that the video that I was talking about earlier was talking about. That some black holes will absorb other black holes and then just get bigger and eventually just burst. I'm probably butchering the fuck out of the information that I learned from that video, but you, the information's out there.
XTE
Not a science show.
J1650-500, for example, which is believed to be the smallest black hole ever yet discovered.
Really?
It has a radius of just 12 kilometers, which is a little larger than the island of Manhattan, but contains somewhere between the mass of 5 to 10 suns inside of that tiny area. And there are still far larger beasts than even this lurking out in space. Take another black hole named GCIRS-13e. There are a number of questions surrounding this one's potential existence, but if it's real, then its size is roughly the same as the continent of Europe, all while containing the mass of 1,300 suns inside of it.
Damn.
But even this is insanely tiny
that is
compared to a few more that are out there, like HLX-1, which is designated as an intermediate-sized black hole. It has a radius of 295,300 kilometers, so it's about as wide as 4 Jupiters placed side by side, but it contains the mind-boggling mass of 100,000 suns inside of it, lurking in the center of the Milky Way.
See, how do things like this exist? Like, how do things like this exist? How do they find out things like this exist? That is just so extraordinary to me.
Galaxy, however, is a supermassive class black hole known as Sagittarius A.
Yeah, I've heard
it has a
about that.
huge radius of 12,700,000 kilometers, about 5% of the distance between Earth and Venus. But this monster contains the ridiculous mass of 4,300,000 suns inside of that area. As insane as that sounds though, we have yet to arrive at the largest known black hole in the entire universe. The monster with the extremely ominous name of S50014 plus
That's
81.
appropriate.
This titan
Anything
is
bigger
sometimes
than
classed
the
into an
last one?
entirely separate class of black holes, the ultra-massive class. Its radius is 1,600 times greater than the distance between the Earth and the Sun, and contains the mass of 40 billion suns. Let that sink in for a moment. Take the Sun, which is already unbelievably huge compared to anything else on a human scale, and then multiply that by 40 billion times, and you have the mass of this behemoth black hole. And if you're curious, that's also equal to this many Toyota Corollas, which is a number that is so unfathomably huge that I'm not even going to attempt to say it. You can just look at it and understand it's a lot.
What's that number called?
So this video was made possible by Hover.
Oh, that's pretty cool. One thing I wanted to say is one of the things that I read about black holes is that they don't have like a pool. It's like they're nothing. They sit there, and then if you go into it, you go into it, and if you don't, you don't. But like, I might be wrong. They might have a gravitational pull, but that's just from my memory. I believe that they don't really even look like anything, and most of the stuff that we see in space is like artistic merit or artistic like depictions of what we would see if we weren't locked behind our human eyes and stuff, like, because humans, they can't see a lot of the colors that apparently exist, which I don't even understand how we know those colors exist, but that's pretty cool. But one of the things that I did read is that from my memory, black holes do not have gravitational pulls. It's just if you happen to find yourself soaring into one, you will soar into one. I mean, without spaghettification and all that, but and then like, yeah, they're nothing. But somebody did say that the most perfect depiction of a black hole, like artistic wise, was in Interstellar, which that's one of my favorites too. Let's see if this has any more.
I said last time that I recently